have a request from a 5Q. Oh, we'll play. Let's zoom in and say hello. And I'll try a fourth file rec here. So I've had some bad games recently. I got knocked back down to 9Q. I've been as high as 7Q. He's copying me. Guess I'll go ahead and castle. And it's bringing the silver up right away. Okay, I mean, this front is pretty well defended. I can push this pawn at any time. Oh, with the silver there, I'm not provoking a trade, am I, when I bring that silver up? Anyway, so he's doing some kind of rapid silver attack. Let's see what his idea is here. I'm going to bring another piece up to defend. One thing about this advanced pawn is it prevents me from putting a gold here. I mean, normally you'd go like pawn up and gold here. Okay, so now he starts to castle. The line to the bishop is open again. Let's go ahead and offer the exchange at a time when I can retake with the silver. Okay, now he's got a bishop he can drop, but nowhere to drop it, if I remember this correctly. Everything's covered at the moment. And when I step up with this bishop here, or with the silver, what can he do? He's looking, he's looking at my king's temple here. So I have to be careful he doesn't get a knight in hand to drop it. And of course it prevents me from pushing this pawn forward. I think I will drop a bishop here and see where he goes from there. If he steps back, I'll take that lance in the corner. If he takes my bishop, I'll take back with the silver, and my rook is protecting these squares here. He has a drop here hitting my rook. But that's about it. I have a drop here hitting his rook. Pawn up. Silver takes, drop the pawn, the silver goes back. Bring the knight out first, then play pawn up, which would be a silver trap. But my knight would be in a weird spot. I can't play this pawn up, he can just take it. I could drop a bishop here. Okay, his silver went back. So I take, he takes. I could bring my silver up. He takes, I take. Gets a little risky. I take, he takes. I don't have to do anything. I could drop a bishop here then. hitting his rook. Yeah. Bishop here hitting the rook. He just moves the rook or blocks, so he can't block. I can't drop. I really want to drop here when his rook is covering it. That's the kind of mistake I've been making, actually, is doing drops like that. Drop here. Looking at his king's head. Okay, other options. Can push this pawn forward. He takes. I can drop a pawn, and his silver is trapped. So the silver has to go back. Or he could push a pawn. That's the plan B, is to push a pawn, but I think it doesn't work in this case. I take the silver, he promotes, but then I can just take it. Oh, I don't have a pawn in hand. This doesn't work because I don't have a pawn in hand. You need to get a pawn in hand first. Okay, so I can drop a bishop here. Well, if this works, he'll think I'm some kind of genius, but if it works, it's just an accident. What did he play? He dropped the bishop here, hitting my rook. Yeah, because I moved this pawn forward, it opened up that diagonal. So I can move my rook here, hitting the bishop. He can come out and promote. Then I can grab the lance. Unless he's got some big threat here I'm not seeing. I think that's a good one. And then I can drop the lance here, trapping his bishop. Is the lance covered? He can take the lance with... yeah, okay. The horse covers the possibility of a lance drop there. So he's doing that just so he can... yeah, he can penetrate this way. So I have a horse here. I can take the knight. I can... I can't come out here. I could drop something here, like a lance tacking there. If I drop a lance attacking the horse, it can just move and keep this guy defended. If he takes here, I can take back with the rook. So it's not a problem. So I think I should take the knight. Maybe he's got ideas of attacking this horse here, coming in with his horse again, attacking my knight, rather. He drops a gold there. Okay, and that's a... oh, this is defended. It's not a bad fork. Could come out. He can't drop a pawn on me. And surely I'll have some good drops with all of this in hand. Knight, lance, silver. Something good will happen. Oh, he uses the horse, and he uses the gold to protect the horse and come in here. So I can sacrifice my rook for a horse. He takes. Then I've got a bishop in hand. Can drop a bishop here. Yeah, I think that's worth it. That rook has nowhere to go, really. I mean, wherever it goes, I can trade it off. So it goes there. Oh, I can't trade it off there. I was wrong. I was thinking this horse could take it, but of course it's too far away. It only controls these squares. Okay, and my horse is not defended here, so let's step up. Attack the rook. Chase it away, and then I can bring in a knight or a lance, something to attack with, or the silver. He's got a gold near my king here. Yeah, so I could drop a knight here. He takes, I take. Or I just take the gold right away. I mean, take the rook right away. Just take there. I guess he really couldn't escape that. Okay, so now I want to drop a rook. I want to drop a rook here so that I can play something here which will be attacking this pinned piece. And he has a rook and a bishop he can drop, so he can drop something over here probably. Oh, really? He's going to move a pawn? That's very calm. A very calm response. Okay, I'm going to try and break through here. I'll sacrifice this horse for a gold, drop a silver. He's going to try and break through here. Now, isn't this one of those places where I can drop a silver? The king takes, and I drop a gold, check. King runs, and then the gold marches in with check. King runs again. Now the silver here is defending. Okay, so we will just attack in the normal way, I guess. That was check, so I had to respond. He's got a lot of pieces now. He can maybe do something. I might want to start running with my king, or I might want to block. I'm not sure. Haven't decided what's best. Could drop a pawn here. So yeah, lance, knight, and gold. These squares here are covered by pawns, so a knight drop to check the king is not really happening. Ah, goes there. Okay, so a defensive bishop drop. Let's check and attack the pinned bishop. Okay, now we're getting there. Got a silver. He's got a silver, I mean. What if I take here instead of taking the bishop? How about if I bring a knight in? There we go. Pile up on the pinned piece. He can't take my gold. He can't take my knight. Maybe he has some counterattack here on this diagonal, but I can take here with check. I was thinking a bishop here would pin the knight against my rook. But knight goes there, check. He takes back, gold takes check. King runs, then I can move my rook. Ah, he's making an escape plan for his king. Still, a bishop drop would cause some trouble there. Okay, so I'll go with the knight first. Yeah, I realized his plan here a little too late. So this is pinned, so this is still safe, but it's hard for me to add more force here. I have a bishop, though. I can add more force like this. Maybe just a gold drop here would have worked too. But then he can take here, but then now I can take back. So gold drop here is coming. So he defends. Yeah, so I drop a gold here, hitting the rook. If silver takes here, I'll take the rook with check. Discovered check. The king has to move. The king can take. Well, it's the best I can think of it. And under these time controls, in this situation, I've exhausted most of the pieces in his hand. He's just down to a knight in hand. He's going to get some here. One, two, three, four, and 1, 2, 3 defenders. Yeah, so this just wins material. And he resigns. Okay, well, that was a nice one. We can check that out with Shogi, Dokuro, and Elmo, and I will see you guys then. Here, let's say thank you for the game, and have a nice day. and go back to full screen mode and give him a good manner. Okay, I now can maybe get promoted back to 8Q if I win another game against someone whose fixed rating is higher than mine, minus 200. Okay, anyway, I'll check out that game and see you then. Bye. Well, I had Elmo take a look at the game, and this is what the graph looked like. It looks like I was doing pretty well the whole game. Got an advantage here, gave it away, and then got it back again. I guess my opponent was making little mistakes along the way to help me out there. It's kind of interesting. My opponent was a 5Q, and I just been through a series of losing games, and I was getting beaten up by players rated 9 and 10Q. So I guess the ratings are highly variable. Well, I was in bad form too. I was making some pretty silly blunders during that series of losses. Anyway, let's take a look at this game. It started off, we're both playing the 4th file rook. My opponent, though, goes with a quick silver attack. He just starts pushing that silver forward. I was castling here, and you can see that as my opponent pushes that silver forward, these lines, as they go up above the as I go up above 0, that's in my favor. So Elmo doesn't really approve of this plan, and I think because this silver really has nothing great that it can do here. I defended at this point. Elmo is recommending actually I should just push this 6th file pawn forward, offer the bishop trade, which I do in a move. I just defended first and then I push that forward. It already likes the idea here, and it's not worried about any potential attack on this side. But anyway, yeah, I defended here. I brought my gold up, and then he started moving his king forward, and then I pushed the pawn in front of the rook there, and opened up the diagonal for the bishops to trade. Now, if he doesn't take, I'm going to take his bishop, and that will displace his rook. So I think that's why this is good for me, because when I take, it hurts his position, whereas when he takes, it helps me develop because I get to bring my silver forward. This is the same silver that my opponent has already moved forward on his side. So he's kind of helping me catch up in that development, and in the meantime he hasn't castled here. His king position is a bit weak. So let's see, he dropped a bishop here. Yeah, Elmo didn't really like that. It thinks he should just complete the castle, or start, at least move the king one more over. Let's see, and I dropped a bishop to defend. Yeah, I could just ignore that. In fact, this is a good point. I can push the this pawn and force the bishop to choose a diagonal. Right now the bishop is looking at this diagonal towards my king as well as this diagonal towards my camp and my lance in the corner. So he has to choose after I push this pawn forward to retreat back this way or back. Oh, he can't retreat back this way. Yeah, it forces him back this way. So gets him off of a dangerous diagonal looking at my king. So that's a nice idea. Anyway, I just blocked, and we got another trade, and then he brought his gold up, and that seems to have been a mistake. Right here, I have a good pawn push. Yeah, I dropped a bishop instead, but now would be a good time for me to push this pawn in front of my rook. I already pushed it one step, but push it again, and try and get an exchange here, get an open line towards his king, get a pawn in hand. His king is still not castled, so it's a good time to just open things up there. So that would have been a nice move. Instead, I dropped the bishop. I was still thinking about this diagonal and the lance in the corner over here. So he dropped the silver to defend, and I just dropped back. But anyway, that bishop drop was exactly when I gave my advantage away. So if I had just proceeded with the attack over here towards his king, that would have been the strongest advantage. So now the game is even. But starting with this move, this offer of a bishop trade again, my opponent's position starts to go downhill again. And it's interesting, this pawn push, I played it by mistake in a way. I mean, I played it on purpose, but I played it with the idea of dropping a pawn here and chasing this, trapping the silver. It can't retreat here. And that's his pawn, and this pawn is defended. So I thought that would be good, but I don't have a pawn in hand, so I was just forgetful, or not clearly thinking. But it's still not a bad move. You see, the evaluation didn't change much after that move, and in fact, Elmo's recommending that the silver should retreat rather than take, because that silver is in an awkward position, and I think the best way for me to exploit it is for me to drop my bishop on 7h. That's over here. Drop the bishop here, attack that silver, see if he can find a way to defend it. But anyway, I was still thinking about that lance in the corner. I dropped my bishop, and he drops a bishop attacking my rook, which seems to have been a mistake. Yeah, Elmo is saying I should just go ahead and take that lance immediately and let him have my rook. Well, he doesn't win the rook because my rook is defended. So all that's happening is it's a bishop-rook exchange here, and in the meantime I will come in here and promote and threaten the knight. And apparently that's pretty good for me. I'll also have a bishop in hand from this exchange, and he will have a rook in hand, but maybe there's nothing he can do with it immediately that's so great. So, but I thought that I would be able to promote my bishop anyway, and it worked out that way. He needs to move his bishop out of the way. He gets to promote, and then I get to take the gold in the corner, and both those moves are approved by Elmo, so that's the correct play for both of us. And I think I'm just ahead now that I've got the lance in hand and a promoted horse, promoted bishop. He has a promoted bishop too, but my promoted bishop is in his camp, and I can do some stuff with it. And in fact, already I have the idea of dropping a lance here. Take this lance and drop it here, protected by the horse. I briefly thought about this idea. I don't know if it was exactly at this point, but I remember thinking about that idea and thinking he would just block with a pawn. He has a pawn in hand. But if it was at this point, I was overlooking the fact that he's already got a pawn here, so he couldn't drop another one. So that would have been a good move, that lance drop that I thought about. Maybe I wasn't thinking about it here because I might have been more worried about this. But anyway, at this point, I decided just to take the knight. And that also seems to be an okay move. And it's just a trade if his promoted silver wants to come in and start taking things. And yeah, that's what he did. But this is all still good for me. I've got 2 pieces in hand now. And, well, I've got 3. I've got the silver. I have the silver and he has the gold, so that's pretty much even. But I've picked up a knight and a lance, and my horse is in his camp. So this is a good position for me. And I don't do anything to blow it. I thought it was interesting here. Elmo would recommend dropping the rook back to 5i rather than bringing it forward. I was thinking about that too. I wasn't really sure what was better, but this seems to be okay as well. And then it does approve of this idea here of when he drops, or when he brings the horse in, just give up the rook for the bishop, and then drop the bishop here attacking his rook. That seems to be a good sequence. Yeah, Elmo would have attacked with the silver rather than the bishop, but I think the rest of this is pretty straightforward. I'm just attacking, and Elmo has better ideas of how to attack, but that's always going to be the case. I'm happy that I managed to finish it off, and in fact, here already Elmo's seeing a mate in about 30 moves. I don't calculate ahead that far. But anyway, I'm happy with the way I played the rest of this. And now there's not an immediate mate. I mean, Elmo says there's a mate in 18, but I have such an overwhelming material advantage. He's had to give away a lot of his heavy pieces here, and he's going to have to give up some more. So this is all looking good for me in this position. My rook and my bishop are both supporting the gold there, so and the king is in check, so he's going to lose the rook at this point. So I will have all the heavy pieces, and I'll be in pretty good shape to finish that game. So I'm not worried about my ability to finish that one off in that position. Anyway, that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye now.